Time now for a market update with business editor Ticky Fullerton. Ticky, you spoke this afternoon with the NAB CEO Phil Cronick, and a pretty interesting time for the banks. What did he have to say about the results, first of all? Disappointing like the other majors?
Well, exactly. This is the third one in, 10 days, 2 weeks. It was a disappointing result, as he said, that the net profit down 14%. Really the double whammy of this extraordinary remediation cost for customers. Now I think it was 1.2 billion total this year. And then the double whammy with the interest rate cuts that the RBA has been having and the pressure on margins. Now this, of course, very controversial area. I know you've been covering too, the ability of these big four banks to pass on the full rate cut to customers, and they haven't been doing so, and they've been having to justify why they haven't been doing so. That went on today. Now, look, the other pressure that the bank has got is providing enough capital that the regulator, both here in Australia and in New Zealand next month, will require of them. Now, they're cutting their dividends by 16%. They've got a dividend reinvestment plan. Overall, though, the share price for NAB was actually up 2.3%. I think the market was sort of relieved it wasn't any worse, and also there's some good talk on cost management, I think, appealed to the market. Here's Phil Cronick on dividends.
Well, I think the structure of banking is changing, and we need to adapt our businesses around that. So we've had to obviously reduce the dividend, which I appreciate is quite disappointing to a number of our shareholders, but we need to get it to a level that's sustainable so that we can make sure we can be clear with our shareholders the level of income they can expect from a bank share, and make sure that we retain enough earnings to be able to deal with the issues that we have to deal with.
Yes, Tom, otherwise the market was up about 1% today. Overall, a couple of really good players. Xero went up 9.5% after reporting its first ever interim profit. And James Hardie rose 7.5%, and that was on a trading update. So overall, the market pretty good.
Inching again towards that pre-GFC high that it never seems to be able to quite breach. Meanwhile, Ticky, BHP had its AGM today. What was the mood?
Look, it did have its AGM today, and actually it was down 0.5%, really on the back of oil, I think, overnight. Look, there were a few issues there, a little bit of pressure from the Greens in terms of still being part of the Minerals Council. BHP obviously has thermal coal here in Australia and abroad. I suppose a bigger worry is what's going on in Chile at the moment, with all the protests over there, a lot of sort of chat around threats to renationalise their big copper operation, Escondida, over there. I think both Mackenzie's chair and CEO were saying it's not so much the nationalisation, but possible concerns around maybe a different revenue-raising activities. Just keeping an eye on their big copper operations over there.